So let's test your knowledge. I'm going to give you a few questions, and if you can just pause the video, think about this, have a look at it, and tell me if you think this time series is a seasonal fluctuation, if it's a cyclic fluctuation, or if it's an irregular fluctuation. So let me know with this one. So pause the video now, and looking at this one, tell me what sort of fluctuation or time series this is. Okay. Hopefully you've realised that this is a seasonal fluctuation. So we're looking at the room uptake in percentage of rooms uptake over the time. And as you can see in June, every June it goes down quite low. And we can also see in December it really reaches its peak. So we can definitely say this is a seasonal fluctuation because on those months of every year it does the same pattern. Here's your next one. Please pause it here and have a go. Okay, so with this time series, we can look at this births per thousands, and we look at the quarters. So quarters, again, when you see that, we're going to be thinking of a quarter of a year split up in two. So we can see it does come up, sort of starts low, 1 comes up, 2, peaks at 3, comes back down to 4. So some people may think, oh, okay, because it's actually 3, it doesn't peak at 6, and therefore it doesn't peak at 9, doesn't peak at 12. So some people might think, oh, that's not quite right. However, so they may say it's irregular. So some students may say that. But when you're thinking of quarters, there's 4 quarters in a year. So don't get caught out on this one. Okay, there's 4 quarters in a year. So it would be 3. Then 4 quarters onto that would be 7. Then it would be 4 to 7 would be 11. Again, we can see the peak. Onto that would be 15. This is definitely seasonal fluctuation, this one. We can see this is a seasonal time series because it does go up and down over the 4. So when you see quarters, always think of 4 quarters make a whole. Hence we call it quarters. Let's see what your next one's like. Okay, so this one here, have a look at this one here, and pause the video now, and let's see how you go on this one. Alright, I hope this one caught you out. So some people may say that this is just a positive trend. It's just going upwards, they may say that. In the time series. However, it is not a time series. If you look down on the x-axis, or your x-axis, explanatory axis, we can see that it's about size. It's not about time. All of a sudden, it is not a time series. We don't talk about trends. This one would be looking at the strength and talking about the linearity of it. So we'll be talking about moving that up, and if it has an association. So we'll be talking about that. So we're not looking at the trend there. Try the next one out. We'll see. So have a look at this image and this one here and tell me what you think. Hopefully pause the video. Alright, so with this one here, we're looking at the ozone layer there. So it's O3, which is an oxygen, which is only, well, it's an oxygen, 3 of them. That's actually what the ozone is, stops a lot of radiation coming in. That's why we get so sunburned. And we're looking at the year. So it is a time series, this one. So we're looking, it's a fair spread, so it could be cyclical or it could be seasonal. I'm going to look at within the seasons of that. And as I see here, it kind of starts lower at the ears, but then if I look at here, it is already lower, but it comes down. It sort of peaks at the start of the year and comes down. Cool, comes down, peaks sort of near the start of 2000, so it should peak near 98, but it doesn't here. Okay, so I don't really see a seasonal there. It comes down lower. Here, there it's peaked. So I don't really see a seasonal trend with this, and I don't really see a cyclical trend because it sort of doesn't always peak at the start of the year, or every 2 years it doesn't really peak. It's kind of, maybe you could say every 4, but that's kind of getting a bit far-fetched there. We might be able to say it is, and here it does peak there, but it goes right up here. So I would be more classifying this one as an irregular fluctuation. So this one's an irregular one. It's just can't really read much from it, and hopefully you got that one right. Good luck. Here's the next one. Have you got this one? And let me know what you think. Just pause the video there. Hey, how did you go? Hopefully you had a bit of a look at this one. So whenever we're looking at time series, or you're asking a question, first question should be asking, is it a time series? So we're going to look at explanatory variable. Yes, this has time in it, so it doesn't matter if it's a week, if it's a second, if it's years, if it's thousands of years, anything to do with a measurement of time. So this is good. The second thing I want to look at is, does it have fluctuations in it? It's got massive fluctuations in a lot of them. It's going to be seasonal or cyclic. So yeah, this has massive fluctuations. So therefore, it could be seasonal or it could be cyclic. So
when I'm trying to determine the difference between those, remember seasonal needs to have the same spacing between each of its peaks. Where cyclic, it could vary its spacing. And then the second one could be a bit bigger. So we really want to be able to determine that. So we're going to look at basically the data here. Now, I'm just going to bring a timeline just to sort of show a little bit of this. Obviously, 1970, we don't have enough data there, so I'm going to look at the next peak because we do have a lot here. So our next peak, that we do have here is basically at 1979. So that is its peak there. So 1989, awesome. Look at that, it's peaking there. So it's peaking every 10 years. So far, this is seasonal in this first part. But then when we come down here, we can see it's not peaking there. So this is not the same time period. So it's quite a fair way on from there. And again, it's not there. Here, it's at a different peak. So these peaks I'm really looking for. I could look at the troughs, and look for a common thread through those, but peaks are just easy to find. I can see that they're not regular. Here it sort of has, I suppose, if I only had the data from maybe from here onwards, I would be saying, hey, look, yeah, that is seasonal. No, it's not still because it doesn't occur every 10 years. So it's not seasonal. Therefore, it has to be cyclic because I need it to be exactly 10 years. So typically with cyclic, most of the data over 2 years, if it sort of fluctuates over a greater period than 2 years, is usually cyclic because it's just really hard to have it exactly occur at the same time, those peaks for things that we're measuring. So normally, it can still be seasonal if it's above that, don't get me wrong. But typically you'll see seasonal things within a year or within 2 years where it's consistent peak and pattern, and that's what will happen. So have a look at that. Hopefully that summarises it all for you. There's some notes to follow here just to really nail it on the head for you. So stay tuned and just have a look at those. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you got those all right. We'll see you in class. Bye for now.